Hey guys, episode 48 of the stock portfolio series. Relatively quiet week compared to the last few. Up about 3,000. The gold and silver miners are pretty flat from last week. But I did get the polymetal dividend into iWeb. So it's not showing here. That's just in cash at the moment, waiting to transfer over to IG. But that is sitting there. That's £1,300. So that's been a nice boost. Looking at the ISA, the ARCPI is pretty much flat. So pretty flat on the whole ISA, to be honest. Not a huge amount of moves. The REITs are doing pretty well. The American REITs at least. A couple of the UK ones not too bad, but still talk of inflation. So I think the REITs should do well. Argo blockchain dropped with sort of more negative Bitcoin sentiment. Sort of been very up and down in the last week. But yeah, Argo sort of doesn't necessarily move one-to-one with Bitcoin, but that's fine. So Bitcoin ETP is pretty much flat because Bitcoin itself has not really done a huge amount this week. Sentiment done pretty well, 5% up. Gold starting to challenge sort of $1,900. Did sort of come down at towards the end of the week. That's not too bad. So Digital Realty Trust and that sort of thing doing well. First Majestic has trailed off a little. Silver still sort of fighting higher prices. As I say, not all the REITs doing quite so well. Little sort of care home ones not having the same rise as the Americans. So polymetal pretty much flat. That was fine. Got the dividend in here as well. That was about £250 in here. So that's good. Realty income, sort of similar. All the US ones seem to be up about 3%, the REITs. So been a good week. And Sylvania Platinum, sort of pretty flat. Did rocket up, but has come back. Sort of PGM prices still a little bit up and down, but happy with them. Tritax, sort of slight rise. Tritax Eurobox didn't do too bad, 2.5%. So pretty happy with them. They're not risen quite as much as the UK big box, but that's fine. So overall, pretty flat week for the ISA. But the invest is up about £2,000. So fairly happy with that. Sort of fairly steady rises on the invest account recently. And this is sort of quite broad. Some of the positions sort of up 1% or 2, some down 1% or 2. But some of the sort of more value ones like Archer Daniels still sort of plugging away. On the sort of longer term, very steady rise. So really liking them. Viva and Baidu sort of not doing too well. The banks and house builders not doing too well. Broadcom, pretty flat. eBay had a good week, 7%. See they're sort of doing a deal, selling the classifieds business and sort of taking a stake in this European company. Seems interesting. Not sure of really what I make of it yet. Could be positive. FedEx, bit of a drop, 4% this week, but I think they've probably been sort of due a small pullback when you look at the 3 months. It's been doing really well. So no problems there. Glencore, nice sort of little run since I bought that. So fairly happy with that. 6% up already. Intel think was pretty flat. International paper done fairly well. A lot of the commodities are. Some of the ETFs sort of coming back, 2% on the emerging markets and 1.2% on Japan. Global clean energy took a little bit of a downturn, but that's not really a problem. Kia Group still sort of rocking about with the share issue coming. Haven't bought it obviously, so see where that one goes. Kroger sort of on a there's been a bit of a rough week sort of in the market in general, and Kroger always seems to sort of hold up pretty well as a defensive one. So yeah, 11% up on them, pretty happy. Legal in general took a small drop, same with Lennar, but they were fine. Lockheed's in a nice week, 3%. As I say, everything sort of seems to be either flat or up or down a couple of percent. It's not no sort of real huge moves. Porsche have done very well. Seems like all the sort of legacy car makers are coming back. I think Ford have done pretty well. Porsche and Volkswagen both doing pretty well. And Renault was pretty flat, but Stellantis done pretty well as well, 6.8%. So yeah, pretty happy with them. I think May's been a fairly good week, a fairly good month for most of them. Process 2% gain. They've started to spend the 14 billion that they got from the 10-cent sale. So see they've spent I think 1.8 billion on Stack Overflow, sort of a professional like developers Q&A type website for coding and sort of various uses. A little bit of a complicated business, but seems interesting. A lot of pretty high number of active users. So yeah, it's not a stake, it's a full outright purchase. So pretty happy with that. There's a huge discount now between the sort of 10-cent stake plus the cash that they've got and Process's actual market cap. So happy to carry on buying if we get some cash, but it doesn't seem to be happening anytime soon. Rio Tinto did pretty good, 2%. Shell 3%. Oil starting to really pump up. I think $71 for Brent now. So Shell doing pretty well, but they have had their sort of targets for their carbon cutting sort of ramped up. So potentially a bit of a struggle with Shell. I see BP sort of just going the buy companies route to try and go green, sort of buying wind farms and that sort of thing. Shell sort of want to do it from the ground up a little bit more. Samsung doing pretty well. Sega I don't talk about because that was annoying. Seneca doing pretty well, little food company. So up 5% nearly on that now. Pretty good. Sony 4%, that's the month. 1% up on the week, so not too bad. Still down on that, but not really an issue. I think pretty much everything was fairly flat. Vale having a good week, 4%. As I say, sort of most of the commodities doing pretty well. Nearly 10% up on that already, so that's fairly good. And yeah, Volkswagen a little bit less than Porsche. I think still people seem to like Porsche. I think there's talks of potentially spinning off Porsche themselves as a separate company in an IPO. I was reading, and the Porsche family would sort of take a major stake in that, so you can see why Porsche would maybe be going up a little bit more than Volkswagen. So it'd be interesting to see what happens with that. That's the portfolio for the week. Steady gains. Still waiting to see what happens sort of generally with inflation and interest rates, sort of the economy as a whole. So, stay patient. So leave your thoughts in the comments below, and yeah, like and subscribe. See you soon.